Hey guys, welcome to the stream. Great to have you here. Sorry about that. A couple of technical difficulties. Hopefully you guys can hear me and see everything. I just love it when they update software, guys. I just love it when they update software. So, we're back from the dead, yeah? We're green again, 0.87% after yesterday's shock fall. The question is the problem's over? Are the problems gone and everything's all green, all good again? Well, it certainly looks like at this stage. But this is the type of thing that we really want to start talking about a little bit more, because as we know, the market, it's still bullish. All technicals are bullish. Where do things start getting problematic? You've got to think it's somewhere around this zone here. So for the Nasdaq, it's going to be somewhere around this 14,500 kind of area. Once you get underneath 14,500, will that be a big issue? Yeah, I tend to think so. The technicals will show us the way in that action. The SP 500, it's the same type of thing. Where did the problems start to occur? Where do the cracks come through? It's going to be around that 4250 zone. Once we get underneath there, then what we're starting to say is, well, all this great bullish trend that we've had is over. Now, you might say, Tom, that's too long to wait. That's too long to wait. Yeah, it takes a bit to get down there, and I understand that that's where, people start to go, well, I'd rather know up here than down here, but that's just the reality of the situation. The other thing that you can always look back on as well is if we ever do get underneath the daily 20 again here in the S&P 500, then it would be a close underneath this zone, move towards the 50 exponential. That is something that we've seen happen multiple times once it's gone underneath there. And we've seen the buy the dip scenarios. Now, we talk all the time about stats. We talk all about actionable data. I've been trialing a bunch of softwares at the moment to see if anything's good for you guys. And there's fandangled lingo, everyone. I cannot believe how many different services are out there. I've tested probably let's call it like 20 different services over the last 6 months. And I can tell you this, they make it really, really confusing so that it's super difficult for you to be able to actually understand what the hell is going on. I always try to cut the crap out as much as possible, but wowzers, some of this software, I swear, they use lingo that makes no sense, so you can't actually make sense of it, and therefore you can never be correct or wrong or anything like that. Let's just talk about the averages of data. So we've mentioned and we've clearly highlighted with 20 years of data, you can't really fake this, it is what it is, that August and September are lackluster months for the Nasdaq, that February sucks for the Nasdaq. Now, this is obviously across the long-term board. We know June was not bad this year. You may also say, well, Tom, Feb was bad, but June wasn't bad, but then September might be bad. What are you saying? All I'm going to go with is that there's a seasonal at play that does come through the Nasdaq, where if you look at a chart, it'll actually look like this. This is January. Feb, movement up. Middle of July usually. August, September, rally. If you were to go and just kind of plot it across time and average it out, something like this is going to be the way that your Nasdaq plays. So you've got to ask yourself the question, does it pay to be a nasty bear? The answer is no, it doesn't. In fact, being a bear and sitting on your hands and not investing in the market, in quality companies that is a mistake. I mean, you can see it's a mistake when you look at things over time. But the problem is we all want to be right. Yeah, we all want to be absolutely positive. And you know what? It's ratings gold. You got to say it's ratings gold when things go bad in the markets, unfortunately, because people get scared. They want to talk to other people about what's going on. So we know Apple came out. They smashed the lights out. I mentioned in today's video, huge amounts of calls sitting at 150. And if you want to be a trader, I think you need to understand options. I said we will bring options into this stream. You don't have to trade options, but you need to understand where if there's a ton of calls sitting at a level, which will usually be a psychological level, a technical level, or just retail traders will be being stupid, that is something we want to pay attention to. Now, why do I say retail traders being stupid? Because Wall Street likes to expose around 70% of, let's call it, options and expire them worthless. If you think about it, where would you rather be? The price of 43.27 and a half or 4,300 for an expiration of profit. The 43.27.5 is more likely to probably be successful because there's less likelihood that a huge bunch of retailers are going to be on that. Now, I've been going through and just pulling stats, and I'll just give you some stats here just to show you NVIDIA. Where do you think all expiration is this week, guys? So the NVDA, where do you think all expiration is? Tesla, where do we think all the expiration is of options? Apple, we just mentioned it before. The old Microsoft, MSFT. We'll be talking about that today as well. Now, are they all at key zones? Well, let me just give you where everything is expiring. Calls on NVIDIA, $200. Tesla, I'll let the chat come up with what they think is the most popular option over the last couple of weeks. Think about it, guys. Think about it. Maybe you even have this call option. Which call option do you think is the most popular on Tesla? Answer me in the chat. Let's see if you guys get it. 150, Apple. Microsoft next month, 290. Interesting. Now, it's in their best interest to not give you profits. So will they allow the stock to go above that before that point? No. After they expire, will they allow for that stock to get, moved up a bit? Yeah. Oh, sure. It's all free. You're free now. You're free. It's free, guys. And it's the same on the put side. You'll have what they call put walls. You'll have call walls. And of course, more importantly, you'll be potentially able to take advantage of these numbers, because not only do you know where your take profit might want to be, or your stop loss might want to be, or, where you're looking for the participation phase up to, but on top of that, you're going to be able to also potentially bring in credit if you know what you're doing. And I stress that. Options, it's only two things, put and a call. It sounds easy, but actually it's very complex. The amount of things that you can do is pretty damn amazing. So the chat is correct. It is the $700 strike, guys. $700, it's all over for the 700 strikers. Anyone got 700 striker out there? Let's find. Okay, let's see what people are saying in the chat. That's why I spend the extra premium for more time. Fair enough. Guy Romain, maybe. He's thinking outside the box, just like when you don't buy Mayfair and Monopoly, as we literally detailed yesterday the reason why you don't do that. It's the same thing here. So look, the stock market's looking great right now, obviously in the morning, and you might think, oh, this is all good. Never forget that the FOMC is coming out this afternoon. And whenever we've got the FOMC statement, what tends to happen? A little bit of increased volatility into the event. We've seen this play out before. We get a bullish fake market futures. Then the market comes in, traps a bunch of retail traders, floats down a little bit more, hovers around, and then during the FOMC statement can get very bullish or a little bit bearish during that period. So we do know that this is coming, and is this one of those great days? Probably not. But, in the next couple of weeks, subscribers out there, people out there, I'll be giving away some of these key levels of options just so you can see how the market interacts with them. Would you guys like that? I hope you would. I hope you guys do. What else have we got here? We have... Carl Kenner says, I'm on stake, no options for me, which is probably good. Maybe, Carl. Maybe. No leverage for you either, Carl. Oh, I guess that's not true. You could buy the leverage funds. Chris Smith says, how about the put side? Can you use it to determine a floor? Absolutely, Chris. You totally can. So look, I always go, and I've always said this, there's boxes here, guys. There's circles, and you get sick of it, but I say here's the government and the Fed, okay? You need to know what they're doing. You need to know what the fundamental data is doing. You need to know what the data itself is doing, which can be including, let's call it here, options. Very important part of the American market. Options. Australian market sucks with options, by the way, even though I do trade it. It's not the best, I would say, market in the world for it. And then we have the TA. And all of this stuff feeds into your knowledge of the TA. You would be surprised how, even if you're an investor and you just sit here and you go, Tom, I only care about these three things, the TA still gives you better levels. The TA is the ultimate goal of all these things. and you'll find that the options just agrees with you. And when it agrees with you, it's the match made in heaven. That's when you want to have it doing it. That's the most important thing. Gotta study the option change volume and OI are key, says Ted. Yeah, there's a lot of things you need to think about with options. There's two things, but can be difficult. Thank you very much for the subscribers coming through. Also, thank you very much, Josephine, and also Remote CFOs for becoming members again and renewing their membership. Appreciate it, guys. We've got Locke Nguyen, US $5. Hi, Tom. Can you TA Sava? We certainly can. So for today, it's bullish in the morning. It's looking all right. It's pretty much actually doing around what the expectation of, let's call it the implied volatility of the day would say it's going to. It's kind of topping that already here in the futures in the open. So look, things are good, and we'll go through some of the stocks. The question really is going to be whether we see a warning sign actually trigger. And I've mentioned that a few times. IWM. I'm still watching it, guys, and I still have an alert underneath the 200. 208, I'm worried, okay? Underneath 208, yes, I believe this is the beginning. And a lot of options positions won't actually even be being floored at that point. But yeah, I'll be watching the IWM. Remember, it all starts with the small companies. That's an important one to look at. The US 100 is where I believe the problem is. And we talked about the study yesterday of how far away we are from the 20 moving average. So that's how far away we are from this thing down here. Now, if we get over kind of like an 8% number, that's actually starting to get statistically pretty high. And when you get over 8% away from the mean reversion on the weekly, you're signaling a higher chance of pullback. And of course, if that occurs during the time of year we're in, again, it's the time to be optimistically cautious. And we've said that now for a week. And guess what? Nothing much has happened as well. Nothing much has happened. Let's go through some of the stocks that reported. So we had Apple. Glorious report. 150, incredibly unlikely to get through before the 30th of the 7th. The strike numbers there are incredible. Now, if they get closed before the event, so let's say all these 150s get closed today, that might open the ability for it to get past 150. But at this point, we have huge amounts at 150 just sitting there. So 150, definitely one of the barriers that we're looking at. Makes sense. It's a technical barrier, psychological barrier currently on Apple. We have Amazon. Now, Amazon's an interesting one because when we look at Amazon and we go down to something like the daily, we obviously have an earnings announcement coming. So will this be another buy the rumor, sell the fact? 29th is coming out. You know where all the strikes are here? They're all in that 3,500, 3,600 range. So there's tons of strikes there, and there's tons of strikes at 4,000 as well. So yeah, it's a bit more muddled for Amazon in terms of the options positions. From the technical side, I guess you're saying, oh, well, it's hit support again. It's obviously a gamble into something like the earnings. So that's for you to make a decision whether you think they've actually improved and whether the market's run too hard into that kind of event. Let's look at Sava now. Let's have a look at Sava for Locke. Let's check that out. 129. What do I think about the old Sava? Well, great news is it did break out, which you would be well aware of. You're in a bit of a channeling range right now. Okay. Cool. Long leg doji style, so indecision. It's not really a doji because it should be in the middle here. Smaller body would be ideal. But we do have buy, strength. To me, this is the type of thing that's going to smash this new high and keep going for a little bit, maybe a 140 plus. You would take the distance of the range and you would extrapolate that out. And I guess that would probably be going on 147, so just underneath 150 could be a very good level here. This is all the hallmarks of a strong trade. It has a lot of rejection. It has a closure that's very significant yesterday. And when you see this type of thing, even though you might say, Tom, the resistance at a 129, the bullishness behind this stock is quite good. So good luck with that one. And look, from a technical perspective, you'd have to say things are looking pretty great. Things are looking pretty great. BA crushed earnings. That's good. Let's have a quick look at Boeing. 5.13%. Praise. Notice how it comes up Where is it pre-market? This is why technicals work so well, guys. Thank you very much for also the likes, comments right now. Likes and comments. Spam the community right now with the chat because it does help me out. I think that's the way YouTube works anyway. So 235 is the resistance here for BA today. You can clearly see support, resistance is going to be formed. It's great to see the earnings come through. The glorious trend line that's been there for a long time has solidified. It's closed back above 218, and now we move towards that 235 daily, 2 hour 200, and I think it's a daily 50. Yeah, daily 50. That's excellent. I'm very happy for you guys. Matthew Harris coming in with $5. Thoughts on selling puts to price you like based on fundamentals, or do you think there's too much potential downtrend TA risk with that strategy? It's a great question, Matthew. Now, I've got to be careful here with what I say, hey? So selling puts, let's say you sell a put and you might want to own a stock. Let's say it's Apple. And you sell a put and it comes down to 140 and you think, look, I like Apple here. I'd rather it's at 136. I would totally buy it at 136 though. Let's just say that's a scenario. I'm totally going to buy this at 136. I want it in my portfolio. Yes. If that's the way you think about it, then you could potentially sell a put here, and you could, with obviously the amount that you would want to have cash vetted, because that would mean that you actually have the money there to actually cover the put if it happened. And you might be able to receive for a month or something quite a substantial percentage. You could do it for a few months and receive even more percentage. You could do it for a year, one of my favorite styles, and you could receive even more percentage, especially during a downward volatile kind of moment. You can get some pretty good stuff. Now, let's say we could bring in 6% for that. We don't necessarily want to buy it here, but we would love to buy it at 136. You could sell a put here, bring in, let's call it 6% worth of premium, and effectively you would be getting it like at 135. So worst case scenario, and the stock goes to like $60, okay, yes, you had to buy it at 136. And with the benefit of hindsight, you might think, wow, how stupid was I? But what you are doing is you're enabling yourself to buy a location where you don't really care if it turns around a little bit. You might think it's stagnating for a while based on your technical analysis. You might want to buy it here, but you can't right now. Just remember, even though you can close and trade a put, it doesn't give you the opportunity to, by the time the market comes down here, don't try to close it unless there's not much time on it. You'll get slaughtered. So it's about understanding, what do you really want that stock? Now, doing it in a market like it is right now, probably not the best concept if you believe the market's a little bit toppy. But if you were, creating a investment portfolio and you said, bang, 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 I want all these stocks now and I want them 5% lower, you could certainly try to do that with something like a sold put strategy. There's risk. Cash vetting is the key there. Cash vetting. Nick Lim says T-Doc died. Yes, I saw that. So let's have a quick look at T-Doc. I haven't read the report, which I said I would, but I didn't have time because I ran the webinar before. Very disappointing T-Doc, but not I'm not sure. I haven't looked at it. Can anyone give me the cliff notes on T-Doc? Is it acquisition again? Is acquisition too high? Is the cost ridiculous? Are they losing money hand over fist with acquisition? I assume that's got to be what it is. So yeah, T-Doc, Kathy Wood. Sometimes people get in love with a stock. Now, I talked about T-Doc a bit. Don't get me wrong. I bought at 190, and then I bought back over here, and I talked about this concept of getting out of here, and I was scared of its earnings, so I ran away, which was, I think, around here. Sid will back me up on that. So the concepts here are basically, is T-Doc on support? Yes. Is T-Doc healthy? I think it's a fundamental concept. You don't just buy a random TA support unless you believe in that company. Why would you buy here? You have absolutely no confirmation whatsoever that it's found support or anything today. It's down 9%. You might go, buy the dip, baby. Well, buy the dip's cool if you want to hold the stock. If you don't want to hold the stock and then it keeps going, are you going to be like, buy more dip, and then fall in love with it? Now, T-Doc has if it fell over and really did badly, and I think Kathy Wood's been purchasing a lot of this. Let's just say she was wrong on this stock and she fell in love with it and bought too much of it because it's a big part of the portfolios now. That would be so sad because I've seen this happen before with managers where they just buy and buy and buy. It's kind of like me abusing Square every day on the charts, yeah? It's kind of like me abusing Square. I'm like, I could have been using that towards other things, maybe a bit better. But yeah, you don't want to fall in love. It is at support here on the 137, 135. Joshua said, Tom had a love-hate with T-Doc. I did. But at least I realized around this zone, which is where I first started like loving it and then hating it, that it was a time to be like, goodbye. Goodbye, T-Doc. I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry for what you've done to me. Andre says, if Amazon dips to 3,500, I will go long from there. Interesting. Stephen Aldrich says, can someone clarify this PLTR DCRN news for me? I'm not sure about that one. And then a few people say they want to look at Barber. We'll check that out in a few points. Convincing head and shoulders on the S&P. What time frame, man? What time frame? All right, let's go over to the Barbers. Poor Barber. Look at it. All the way down. It's up in the pre-market now. Did rally yesterday. Actually came off our little stupid trend line that we had. Remember the stupid trend line? Wowzers. Don't ever do that, by the way. And that was just me trying to figure out where I thought there might be some buyers. That is not an ideal. I mean, I guess you could use it for buy and dip situations, but it's not an ideal kind of trend line. Look, I think it'll try to fill the gap, which it's doing right now, 191. If it does come back up to 200, there are options all over 200, guys. Barber options are insane on 200. It's like a 200 Fiesta. And they're long dated too, which is really weird. So there's a huge amount of long date buys at $200. And I'm not sure if that's retail or who it is. I haven't investigated it. But I could see this thing rallying to 200. There were some reports that quite a lot of funds in China were buying heavily here. I think for me, it's all about price elasticity and then trust. And when you think about a company like Barber, people have trust on the way down. And then when you have intervention, it can take some time to get trust back. So you might do all your fundamental analysis in the world and say, look, I believe Barber is worth $300. Fair enough. However, it may not come back to the $300 because people won't be prepared to pay the multiple on these Chinese stocks, possibly for quite some time. People have a short memory span. I understand that. That's a big thing. But if people have a short memory span and they're not interested in, like they still will come back eventually. It's like the Volkswagen saga, the Toyota saga in the past, all these types of things. So I think it fills the gap. It probably moves back up to 200. That seems quite likely. If you actually look at Barber in the Hong Kong session, over here, where is it? 9988. Is that the one? It did rally through today. I can't remember what time frame I was looking at. Was it JD or something? And again, you can see that there's this 195. That's not the one I wanted. I'm sure I saw it somewhere else. Maybe. Yeah, I thought it was this. Huh. I swore I saw a different chart before. Maybe I was looking at a different Chinese stock. Anyway, they were all bouncing. So, yep, I could see it bounce. Just be careful here. Breaking through this support is... I wouldn't buy. It's not me. But I can't tell you what to do. That's just my opinion. My opinion is I don't like buying the random dip here. I like the 200 level for the Barbers. I think there is opportunity here if you're a crazy person and you like that kind of stuff. But yeah, 200... and that level over there was pretty much the two trades. And unfortunately for me, I'm not coming back for quite some time. I never had this extra position, but I did take this one. And yeah, that's fine. I put stop losses. I put the correct risk management. Move on to the next one, guys. If you get intervened on, I've learnt better than to trade pegged markets. That's not my kind of thing. Yeah, 9988. Yeah, I had that one up as the code, but for some reason, I thought I saw a different market condition. Either or, filling the gap seems quite likely here. Andre says, I doubt Barber will ever recover. Yes, very possible. It's very possible. Video's blurry. Really? Is it coming through bad, guys? I'll see if I can improve it on the fly. This software did update. It doesn't let me do it. I hope it's not blurry. And if it is, I will improve that tomorrow. Sorry, guys. Okay. Yahoo Finance, good source. Yeah, it's not bad for a whole bunch of different things. Best site to look up options. Yahoo Finance can be free, so that's good. Free is good. Let's continue. Bitcoin. For Bitcoin peeps, you'd be pretty happy with the 40.8K hit. It did actually hit the resistance. The holy resistance got hit there. Now, what you're looking for here, Bitcoin people, is actually consolidation. You may say, oh, Tom, I want it to go to the moon. 50,000, baby. 48,000. Let's go there. Well, remember, in our scenarios of the Wyckoff theory, the accumulation pattern, where are we here? This thing, which it actually is doing right now, no doubt. It's got a lot of these. We even put the LPS there on Twitter, remember? We already put make sure you select 1080p. It should be at least 1080p. I hopefully, with the new internet I've got here, I can do it even higher for you guys in the future. So we've got the LPS. We've moved up now. We're kind of sitting around this level here, which is this level, the 40.8. And what we need now is we need it to it can even spike through. We need it to consolidate a little bit. That would actually be ideal because remember, there is a key zone back over here, the $42,500 line for Bitcoin. 42.5. That's the level that I want to see Bitcoin just smash through after accumulation. And I believe leverage will come into it at that point as well, if it does occur. So for Bitcoin peeps out there, this is good news so far. It's had a great rally, but we're at the tippity top of the mountain, and it certainly hasn't broken through right now. That's where people steal the profit. They take the profit. All the nasty whales that have been trading up with some leverage, they're all like, see ya. We'll come back in a few weeks, or we'll come back in a few days. Now, Ethereum still maintain this has the better looking price action on it. This has the one where basically we have the support, the resistance, the beautiful structure here across the board. Welcome to the 1,320 viewers as well today. Great to have you here, guys. And this is the beautiful structure that we've got going on. Very, very nice. I like it. And I would love to see it break through at 2,400 and then move towards 26. And if this double bottom is to be believed, that could also trigger into the 28 plus. So Ethereum could be the better trade in the future, but at this stage, it has not triggered. Remember, closure is the key with all these types of things. Let's keep going through some of the stocks. So Google will be up decently today, actually up a little bit less than I thought it would be. Let's go around the market. I was looking at the Zoom. That's a good story of price elasticity and strength actually in the market overall. So we have Boeing coming out number one. We've got Baidu. We've got Coinbase doing good things, 240. It's amazing it's 240. You know, here's the crazy thing. Think about the price that Coinbase was. If you overlaid Bitcoin price with Coinbase price, what price do you guys think, based on Bitcoin price right now, Coinbase should be? So remember, when Bitcoin was 40,000 last time, was it the same price? Was it 240? Or was it much higher? Think about that for a second. Answer me in the chat. I'd very much like to see what you guys think. Roku, Microsoft, good earnings, 290, straight where those calls are. All the nasty calls are at 290, so probably will hold this level for a little bit. I wouldn't see too much more upside. I know it got upgraded by a few different companies. Maybe we'll see the calls disappear tomorrow, or at least some changes to the call structures. But at this stage, Microsoft's kind of hitting that tippity top kind of area. We've got SE, Square. What's on the downside? Downside. Spotify, wow, 224. Might take a look at that in the chart. John Deere, can't say I wouldn't believe that thing's down. You know, I'm a bit of a killer on this one. And surprisingly, McDonald's, 244. So a little bit weak after going too early ahead of the earnings. Let's go over to the speculation watch list. The AMC people happy today. Tilray out with Tilray is trading at $14, even with a 9% increase. Geez, that fell off hard. Sundial, Tilray, getting stuck in those types of things. And then you got the stupid Airbnb here at 141. Kyle says, coin is trash. Kyle. That's pretty funny, man. Yeah, look, you can say whatever you want about coin. And I always say the same thing about IPOs. I don't like touching it with a 10-foot barge pole unless I'm early. If I was over here, let's say I was the early investor over here, early investor, I've got a big smile on my dial because you know what I'm doing on the first day of launch? I'm selling that, baby. Goodbye, capital gains tax incoming. Because you know what? I would never have held this. Not in a bazillion years. I couldn't believe it when it opened. I was like, wowzers, I'd be so happy. This is structuring up pretty nice. So quite a few people are saying 300, 280, 265. Yeah, I think this is a good thing where you can see sentiment playing out because it's about 240 and you would think, wow, this should be a lot higher. Like even the other day, Bitcoin was actually lower, yet it was trading at 250. Now it's trading at 239. So the market values things highly when it's got that momentum. And this brings me into Zoom when I'll talk about that in a second. We saw this with Snowflake also. So it's actually in great structure. 255 is the break close that you'll be looking for here. And there might be an opportunity to the 300 later on. But it's much, much, much lower than it really should be by quite a few percentage points just because people are losing the faith. And when you lose the faith, you don't pay the high multiple. So let's talk about Zoom here. So Zoom admittedly was down pretty hard yesterday. Then it came up, I think, relatively well by the close. So it went down 5% and actually ended up only being down 1.5% on the day. This has still got really good rejections. It's got, decent volume. And realistically, the elasticity here of the buying or the pressure of the buying has been pretty decent, I would say, compared to a lot of other stocks. We saw this happen a little bit with Snowflake. So what happened with Snowflake was we had a down day. Where was it? So I think it was here. So we had a down day and it opened and it went down. And then, wait, did it open? Is it here? I'm just trying to figure out exactly where it was. I think it was here. So it went down, and then it rallied, and then if I remember rightly, it gapped down here. And what actually happened is all the market was negative, and then as the market turned, Snowflake went very, very bullish. I remember that. And I said that the day before. I was like, oh man, this Snowflake with this deal is just going crazy. And then it explodes out like a, bat out of hell and gets to pretty much one of the option strikes there. And one of the things that was happening here was it had incredible bullish momentum on a bad day. So as soon as that bad day started to turn and you saw like the Nasdaq kind of go down, 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 and then the Nasdaq started turning, as a percentage, this was going up at a much higher percent than the recovery in the other stocks. And that's something that you can look at as that kind of extra X factor as a trader that should be able to help you as an investor, as a trader, to spot momentum. We've talked several times, I thought Nvidia got to a ridiculous price. I was talking all sorts of smack on this, and a lot of smack. And Sid and other people, and this is what you should be doing, they were following the trend. The momentum was strong, and at this exact point, the momentum died. Right there is where the momentum got killed in Nvidia. Remember, the buy the rumor, sell the fact after the split. Still a great company, but yeah, this momentum as it was going along, you couldn't kill Nvidia. It just continuously bounced. And even during bad days, it did fall, but that was actually an immediate opportunity of severe buying pressure. So just think about it this way, that if you've seen something going up a lot, it's like AMC, if you're new into AMC. When AMC was running hard and then it dips, that initial dip is met by incredible demand. The thing that happens is when it starts to get less momentum, that's when you need to start being concerned, because what's happening there is there's less buyers, guys. There's less big buyers, there's less momentum. And at this point here, you don't want to be the person, like everyone was telling me, Tom, we've got to do the Nvidia chart today. When you see everyone in the chat ask me something, be scared. Be scared, guys. If it's blurry, just quickly change it to 1080p. Lucian says all stocks are trash at these levels. Can I really disagree with you, sir? Not really. I mean, I like a lot of stocks. I think there are some biotechs that are getting a little bit cheaper, but yeah. Zihao Zhang says, Tom, you think Tesla is following Wyckoff distribution as well? Is it? Where's my distribution? Distribution or accumulation, or what do you? What time frame, man? Oh, you mean like some mega epic one? Get rid of my lines here for a second. No, I don't. I think Tesla has too many calls on it at $700. I think Tesla has a clear support through the 620. And it has absolutely no idea what it wants to do. And the volatility, it's kind of like a sleeping beast. The volatility is completely out of it. Don't ask me why everyone stopped trading it. I guess the valuation just became too big. I mean, when you're talking about $621 billion, you need a lot of FOMO. I mean, that's when the FOMO was going hard over here. And I just don't think I think people are starting to wake up and say, well, are these numbers good enough? I mean, it's a great company, but it hasn't shown enough fundamentally for Wall Street to be buying it. So it's all on retail's back. Retailers have to do it. They have to get it up there. Kevin N says Nvidia on the edge now. It's just under the 30 MA. Yeah, that's right. It's certainly a thing. Tom Gordon has Sava. Yeah, didn't we do Sava before? I thought we did Sava. Sava was good. Looked really excellent on the charts. Let's have a look at some of the other ones. Now, we got sad with the earnings here. Earnings was bad for this stock. Great setup. If this wasn't around earnings, let's scrap earnings for a second. If you saw this breakout and you didn't, and there was no earnings, that's actually a very solid setup, guys. Very solid setup. But, earnings killed it. SCCO, another one that we've been watching. This still hasn't gotten through, but I'm watching this one. This is a mineral metal company. You can see the very great support, super resistance, crazy moving averages all over here, dynamic resistance. Just getting ready. It's like a beautiful thing if it can actually close above. So we'll watch that one. It's definitely on the watch list now. Roku got kind of destroyed a little bit there. Roku right at the top. I haven't looked at the option strikes here, but I assume there's a lot around there. I'm probably going to have a bit of a hard time getting through it. Have you guys got any others? Send them through. Send them through now. Let's see. They have to be good technical analysis. A few people asking about Square. Yep. So we'll go to Square, up 0.66%. Bounced off previous support. Bad day for Square yesterday. But it is the right level for it to bounce. So for now, we want Square to do something like this. And I think the problem is here, how many stocks are we really seeing at key buy levels? And this is the question you've got to ask yourself sometimes. We know that Microsoft has a bazillion calls on it all over 290. We know that Google just had a good earnings and then it's, 1.28% up pre-market. It's close to pretty much the tippity top. Like it's probably not going to hit 3K, but that would be the kind of max before big problems would happen. Apple's at like 150. Somebody said before stocks are trashed right now, and in some ways you can see why. Like you go through all these stocks. AMD has so many calls at $100. It's ridiculous. There's like a massive line just sitting there at $100. So there are so many positions that are very close to the tippity top. And this is where you've got to be nimble and quick. And I know that's boring and it sounds crap and it should be like, Tom, every day is a great opportunity. I don't know. With me thinking about the Fed today, with the fact that the market's bulled up here, I'm still optimistic. I'm still feeling good, but I'm certainly getting my bare boots on. I have been for about a week or two. You know this. It's the right season for the. This is mostly in tech. I mean, you could say go through other stocks and you look at like a CAT. CAT's come down a lot. You look at a JP Morgan, obviously come down a lot. So it's not all stocks are equal. You go look at what's the Las Vegas stocks doing right now. Las Vegas Sands Corp. What's LVS doing? Oh my God. It's so bad. Oh, it's so bad, guys. Wowzers. Back on the July 20 number. Oh, for people, please tell me people weren't buying down here. We demonstrated very clearly that this was catching the falling knife. But I tell you what, it might have just hit critical support, that is. Look at that. Now, would I buy this thing? No, I'd like it to structure up. But damn, oh damn, I would love to see some structure form here, guys. That would be sweet. JPM. We'll check that out as well. And we'll read some of the chat here. Tom, Snap has a lot of $70 call options, correct? Last Friday. Why did it smash right through? So the thing that can kind of stop the call options is with Snap, didn't it have earnings? So those call options would have been opened into the earnings. And sometimes, not 70% of options might expire worthless. But when you have earnings and the thing smashes it, it's going to expire and they're going to be worth something. You can't stop everything. It's just mostly manipulation that you're looking at on Wall Street. We are around 17 minutes away from the open, so we've got to dial in here. Still looking at JP Morgan from the head and shoulders perspective. Still using this as one of our concepts of bearishness pressure if it was to occur. Of course, where do we feel a lot better about the market? If it gets past 160 and closes, that will probably reinvigorate, you would think, the financials and everything will be looking rosy and great again. So yeah, JP Morgan's certainly one to watch there. We've also got Scott Morgan subscribing and becoming a member for 2 months. Thank you very much, Scott. Appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot. Chris Alexander says Las Vegas just started a mask mandate again. Yeah. And then Al says market will be red today. What does the community think? Well, let's actually do a community poll. Why not? Let's do a poll. Now, it's very easy to say green, isn't it? When you're up 0.82% on the Nasdaq and 0.39 on the S&P 500. So let's get a straw poll going on here. Okay, will the markets be red or green? Okay, and we'll leave this to the S&P 500. So we've got green, and then we've got red. Create the poll. Let's get this one up. I'll vote. I'm going to vote here. Okay, and we'll share that one through. There we go, guys. If you want to vote in that, we'll see what everyone thinks. Vote the poll. There's a poll so we can show everybody. Depends on JPOW? Oh yeah, of course it does. JPOW day today. JPOW day and also earnings for Facebook after the close. Boeing came out. Actually, what did Shopify do? Shopify get a good number, and Spotify's number obviously terrible. Qualcomm also finding earnings later on. So it's earnings week. It is the time. After this week, we're going to really find out whether Wall Street wants to keep this market hot in a time of weakness traditionally for the Nasdaq and the tech stocks. Let's have a look at some of these ones that are getting beaten up, and then we'll continue to go. I just want to have a look at Shop. So Shop up 1.3%. Disinteresting to me, this one at the moment, unfortunately. Doesn't seem like a great opportunity either way. If you're still in it, congrats. And then Spotify, back down to 224. 224. So you could think that actually falls a little bit lower. Old Joe Rogan. Wow, imagine if that played out. This is like a massive head and shoulders. Oh my goodness. I don't think it goes down that low, but yeah, old Spotify. The Joe Rogan experience, it's just not making enough money for them. Don't know if I like it at this price. I think too early to tell. You're just not getting that structure. The structure that you need is not there. What about Barber? We checked out Barber, Rahul, quite a few times. Why is Spotify terrible? I didn't read the report. I haven't had time to look at these. You guys can have a quick look, but it's earnings day. So 5.25% down. Why is it terrible? It's not so much that, you could say this is a giant head and shoulders, but it's on support. Look at all the weekly closes. 224 is exactly that level. Let's have a look here. 224, yep. Weekly closes. So that's why it's finding support here. If you like the company, it's definitely a discount. Let's refresh this one. All right, so we've got the votes in here. And we have 65 votes for the green and 55 votes for the red. So you guys are really split today. Sometimes we get like 70% in one way. Today, you guys are split. And I tend to agree. I probably would go with this is fake market futures green. And then when we get actually into the market, just before the JPOW announcement, or FOMC press conference, we start to see some volatility kick in. And I just don't get it. I just don't think it can go that much higher. Maybe 2% or 3% in the market before it has to take a little dive. So it could be a little bit of boringness here in the next couple of weeks, or at least some super volatility. We just got too many signs. Volatility's been spiking. TLT, the 20-year bond's been going up. And I'm going with, fake market futures, weakness, and then we end kind of flat to down a little bit. Tom, what about crowd? All right, let's do a few of these stocks you guys asked about. So we're 12 minutes off the market open. We'll be dialing in soon. Crowd 0.81%, great stock. Love me some cyber security companies. Where crowd's very high PE. PS, doesn't matter what ratio you look at it, this thing is insanely expensive. Same with Cloudflare Net. I'm looking at this from the perspective of 244 is my critical point. Would I buy here? No. Would I buy at 244? Well, if you like the stock enough, sure. But you better be prepared to also put a cut through it, because if it closes underneath this 244 and gets underneath the 50, back down to 225, you go very quickly. Again, stocks that have got some great supports on them, but if those supports are broken, it's going to get brutalized relatively quickly. And the same thing goes for Net. If you have a look at Net, which is one of my favorite companies, and this thing is, it's just such a beast. I love Net so much. How much is the return now on this? 79%. Nice. Very, very good company. You guys know I followed this one quite a lot over here during the hyperstonk crash. I like this stock a lot, but it is incredibly overpriced. By most metrics, it's very, very expensive. PS, it's too expensive, even though it's ramping. It's a true hyperstock of epic proportions. Kevin says crowd is wildly overhyped and valued. Yeah. Crash, pullback, or what? Not crash. I think correction. Viking Steel says, should have bought crowd 7 to 8 months ago. Yeah. It's a great company, guys. They're both good. Net is good. Crowd is good. They're awesome. I like SE as well. Some of these hyperstonks, when they did crash, they gave you an opportunity if you wanted to hold them. Even Square one, it's not up as much, but it got under 200 at one point there. If you wanted to hold them, you could have, in my opinion, if you've been in the market for the last 6 months. But it'll probably happen again. If it's blurry, guys, just change it to 1080p. It should be fine. What do you think the best tool for option volume, Tom? Paid ones are good. I'll be kind of exploring that a little bit. Yahoo has them. Paid ones is what I've used. We'll see. We may have also another super chat that's coming in. Let's just quickly do this. Sorry, Donnie. Missed you there, man. Donnie Pangborn, $2. Do you think GSK will rebound off the 20 weekly? Let's do that for you now. GSK. 20 weekly. Let's have a look. Yeah. We did this yesterday. Why have I got 2 requests on this one? Is this you, Donnie? Oh, this was yesterday. This was yesterday. Okay. Well, yeah. This is still good. You said off the 20, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. So it looks like I'm fine. And then we've got JN coming in here. Singapore, $2. Can you have a look at ADP, Tom? Keep up the good work. No worries, man. We can do that. Thank you very much to the community for all the support recently as well. Appreciate you guys. It's been awesome to have you here. All right. Pre-market. This still looks very strong. I'm assuming you're following it based on like some moving averages and just kind of following it through. Maybe there's a trend line on the top end that you could be careful of that's starting to, it's been pretty good at predicting kind of around those highs. I guess that's important to look at. You've got 50 exponential behind, which is a very good support, which has been bought off quite a lot of Jeez, it's really run. Data processing. Oh, I love it. I love the business. If it has the word data in it, it means good things. Kind of feels like it's close, but so does a lot of these stocks. You could also, the thing with trend lines, you can draw them so many ways. You can be very careful about how you draw trend lines. I would think it probably continues up here for a little bit, finds some weakness, comes back down, maybe hits the 20, bounces, and continues to slide up, grind higher. If it breaches this moving out, this kind of type of trend line, man, then you could be off to like a hyperextension. If you get a hyperextension, follow it by the moving average and then just start scaling. This is probably a good scaling kind of opportunity here. Can we TA Sam? We sure can. Boston Beer Company. This is getting slaughtered at the moment, isn't it? Yeah. All the beer companies are actually. Isn't TAP getting hit up as well? Boston Beer Company. Nothing you can do about this one in terms of TA. It got hit by an earnings result, I assume. Yeah. And now it'll have to structure up. It may even degrade further. Don't look for the quick rebound on these kind of companies. This ain't no tech company, guys. Wall Street is well aware of how to reprice and price this thing. It's not Twitter, where Twitter goes down 25% in one earnings result and then 2 months later it's back up. That's not the type of thing that this is. So be very, very careful there. Let's have a look at TAP. How's old Molson, whatever it is, cause going? Yep, weakness here. So that's what I'm saying about the S&P 500. It's not equal. There's so many big, large companies in the S&P and throughout the S&P right now that are actually kind of sick or not looking great. It's just the tech that's overextended and a few other very specific sectors. And that's, of course, what retail does tend to love. We've got Bilo Ren, great name, $4.99. This show is even more satisfying than destroying my keyboard when a trade goes against me. I've got a word for you, sir. Watermelon hammer. Okay? I want you to smash watermelons with hammers outside rather than destroying your keyboard. It's cheaper. Cheaper, bro. Unless you buy those $2 keyboards on eBay. Watermelon hammer. Or just watermelon anything. Just bash. Watermelon baseball bat in America. That's what you got to do. Baseball bat. Very therapeutic. And I've got another word for you, Bilo Ren. I'm going to write it on the screen for you. Scaling. Then you won't have to use the watermelon baseball bat technique. All right, so we have 5 minutes here to go. Let's get into the little setups. Let's find out what's going here. So I think implied volatility here today for the S&P was quite low. It was about a 0.7%. That's pretty crappy. Now, whether that's true or not, implied volatility is a random stat in many ways. That's why I don't quote it, but might as well give you guys as much information as possible. So it's relatively low today is the expectation. But you know what? It was relatively low yesterday as well. It was a little bit high. I think it was 1 yesterday. And it did more than that, didn't it? Let's go to the other markets. We'll get up the US 100 as well. We'll watch that into the open. So we're sitting around 15,000 key psychological level into the open. And that's my main issue. You know, we're opening here into a psychological zone. On the S&P 500, we're opening into a 4,400 ahead of the Fed. This happened last time ahead of the FOMC statement, and every one of these indices went down. Do you guys remember that? They all went down early into the announcement and then started rallying after it was good news. Lewis Yang says, earnings and FOMC week, better shut down your trading app and go away. Yeah, you're not wrong, man. Not wrong. Have you been around for a while here? As in trading for quite a few years? You're not wrong there. Any thoughts on JD? JD, Neo, Barber, they're all pretty similar. I think Barber's kind of the sickest one just because it's the one that got the big fight with the CCP. But yeah, they're all kind of in the same boat. I guess JD you would think it's a pretty good company. Pre-market's very sweet, and that's why it's got that more elasticity than Barber does. No, I didn't even need to look at it to know it would bounce faster. I was going to say it's going to bounce faster than Barber will, and it came through with a 5.71, $70. Yeah, this is right around the level that you expect it to have problems with, though, guys. So the way I look at these stocks is they've lost faith of big investors. If I was to go to a client and say this, hey, you know the stocks in China, I want you to buy them. And if they hadn't ever bought them or they hadn't read the news, maybe they're going to be like, oh yeah, cool, opportunity. I see that. But if they've had a nibble and then they got burnt on the nibble, very hard to sell someone that got burnt on the nibble more, yeah? So there won't be many international funds buying this for a little while. I think it'll be mostly internal purchasing. Might be wrong. They might play out better, but yeah, a lot of risks here, guys. Bounce to this level, $70-ish seems quite possible though. Facebook already probably priced in a huge amount of its earnings today, 374 on the open. This thing has been rallying. I always look at rally lengths, so we go, we don't need to go February. 1 second here. Let's go to the daily. So rally length hasn't been too crazy with Facebook in the last couple of days. But overall, since the beginning of May, it has rallied, remember, 25%. 25%. What's up, Massey? Good to have you here. McDonald's, yes. 2 minutes till we get the ding ding. I scaled into TSM after the dump. Your thoughts? Oh yeah, let's have a look at TSM. Semiconductor. When did you scale in? Where's the dump that you're talking about? You're talking about this dump, yeah? You started scaling into it. Okay, so I'll just give you my thoughts on scaling, all right? So firstly, let's say you decide, I love TSM and I want to buy it here. Fair enough. I understand. Support, totally cool level. If you're going to scale in, guys, you should only be scaled into one position at this stage. The reason why is because you know that you're going to be coming into all these moving averages on most time frames. You need your lightning bolt, guys. You need your lightning bolt. Then you can scale your second position, and then you can work towards your 124 and then hopefully work to a higher level. So you shouldn't really be double scaled as far as I see it at this level. No double scale. All right, guys, we're coming into the open. Let's just quickly get this up. We've got everything going on there. We'll watch Apple into the open here as well. Actually, I kind of want to watch Microsoft because I feel like it's at the high. Let's see what Microsoft does. 288, 290, big call wall there. Here we go. I'll play the bell for you guys. Ding, 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 ding. We are open, guys. Thank you very much to the 1,500 viewers joining us this morning. Appreciate each and every one of you. Remember to subscribe if you do enjoy the content. If you're interested in options, technical analysis, commodities, Bitcoin, crypto, any of that stuff, we cover it all in our daily shows, and there'll be a lot more coming. I think it's going to be really exciting here. So here comes the open. We've got NEO bouncing, all the Chinese stocks bouncing by the dip, yeah, is what they say. I think the dip will be purchased, as we're seeing, but there will be problems with the test back up. So things like Barber's going to have problems with $200. Anyway, JD off to the races at a 7%. Microsoft coming in at 290-ish level, having a little bit of problems with that. I'm very interested to see how it deals with this today, whether its upgrades can get it through and hit like a 300 and then bounce back off. I'll be watching Microsoft over the next month, I think, quite closely myself. JD, going to have a look at this, 6.5%. Instantly hits the 70 level, which we had the line on. Finds a little bit of selling. And then Tesla, whatever, is doing its thing. Tesla is stuck in his range, so what can you do? Square up 1.5%. That's nice. Back to 255. Better than it was. And it is all green, all good here early in the markets. Where's that stupid... T-Doc's getting obliterated. No. Look at it. Oh, no. Where would the bleeding end? Did anyone have a write-up on what this did? I don't have T-Doc. I don't know. I guess 131, 132 should be where buyers come back in. Brutal start here for the T-Docs. Where are you? Zoom only up 0.57. bit disappointing. I'd like to see at least a 2 on that. So market does open here exactly what it said, 0.8%, 0.4. What do you guys think? Bit of selling here now after the first 15 minutes. Fool in Japan says, I bought Didi again, Tom. Oh my God. Does that mean you bought more Didi or what? Evil T-Doc? Yeah, it's Evil T-Doc. Evil T-Doc. What's that doing to ARC-G and stuff? Let's have a look at ARC-G. Oh, it's just holding strong. Even with T-Doc just destroying it. Wowzers. The rest of the stocks must be very strong. Because isn't it? It's about 10% T-Doc, isn't it? That fund. I think so. I don't know, guys. I don't feel the fake market futures today. I know it's all green, all good. But yeah, I don't know. FOMC statement and crazy earnings all over the place. And then the action that we saw yesterday, the increased VIX. I'm smelling a rat. And I don't like rats. We have a rat problem in Australia, if anyone doesn't know. They're like New York rats, but bigger. David Taylor, $2. Hi, Tom. Thought on PFE earnings today. All right, let's have a look at it for you. Pfizer. Well, you know I love healthcare, man. Healthcare. It's glorious. Look, how can Pfizer be bad? I mean, it's a behemoth, and it doesn't move much. It's running into the earnings. Look at it go. I've liked healthcare for quite some time. You can see I had a little drawing here to where it was going to go. The tippity top. What can you say? I mean, the market's showing strength. It's going to have to be a really good number. So remember, I talk about Wall Street. They rank on 0 to 10. And Wall Street always this is the expectation, and Wall Street's real expectation is at least an 8. You would think here, based on the orders, based on the demand for the vaccine and all sorts of things that Pfizer have got going on. Oh, God. It's such a gamble, man. If you believe in the company, then you've got to believe. Kind of like Moderna, yeah? You got to believe. Yeah, Moderna. mRNA. Oh, that would be a scary day. I would not. My personal opinion on that, I would have to scale a bit with the price where it's at. Oh my goodness. So yeah, PFE, it's at the tippity top. So usually a market will go towards critical resistance or support before earnings. And that's what PFE is doing. It's at the critical resistance. Up to you how you want to play it. Earnings is earnings. If you believe it's good, it'll break through. It'll make a new high, and then it'll get a really quick reprice as well. Ulrich Nielsen, DKK, $20. RHT, Relic Health, TSXV. Thoughts on today's open? All right, let's have a look. RHT. Relic Health, yeah. 4 hour. Pretty small one. Only $77 million company, this one. So very, very small. Okay, so the weekly looks more promising than anything else. We've obviously looked at it before for you, Ulrich. You always give me these left of field stocks. I actually don't mind if it closes weekly here. Because what they'll be showing is 2 rejections, some buying that's gone in, and then, of course, a bit of a follow-through. Holy moly. Did I just see that switch go on there? 1 second, guys. What happened here? Apple just got smashed. Look at it. They don't want to give none of those calls any money. No calls. I think 140 is like a put wall for Apple, though. 140. My goodness, look at it. Down 2.55 now. T-Doc recovering. So many retailers trading options on Apple. Probably the #1 biggest opens that I've seen. Yeah, so US 100 taking a dive from that. And the nasty Apple 2.58. I expect if it does get to 140, it should find some buying pressure. Just because there's a huge amount. There's a big inflection point there. All right, let's go to this one. So I would like it above here, closure bullish. But today is open. I don't really feel anything about it. Nothing about it, unfortunately, Ulrich. Oh, it's 0.52. Oh. 0.52. Thanks, mate. So, better. Why is it not? Why don't I have the real figure? Bugger. Well, that sucks. I mean, 0.52 is good, but that would be what I was aiming for. Yeah, look, no, you can go for 0.55. You've got really great level of 0.55. That's previous support, previous resistance, really great times. 2 days of bearish opens for the SPX, says Kyle. Well, it was a bullish open. Well, yeah, bearish on the open, yes. But fake market futures, guys. Never trust the fake market futures. They're nasty, nasty, nasty. And you can see it here. Look at them. Coming in, stealing all our coins, creating what looks like an illusion into the FOMC. We could have some excitement coming up in the next months, that's for sure. But 14.5 is my level for the US 100 at the moment. 14.5, you get under that, 14,000, of course. And I think where there's a serious amount of support right now, I might be able to show you it tomorrow. The amount of stuff sitting on the Nasdaq, sitting at 13K, is craziness. I would be incredibly surprised if the Nasdaq could bump under 13K. I know that's crazy just thinking about it getting to 13K, but this to me is like, I'm laser focused. I'm laser eyed all over 13,000 right now. I don't know why I feel so good about 13,000. Well, I do. And it's because whenever you look at most pullbacks in the Nasdaq over time, most good pullbacks that aren't trade wars like this one, they do love the 50. It loves the 50, guys. The 50, it loves it. And we haven't seen a 50 since the rally. So even though we've seen mean reversion, we've never seen the 50. And you're not asking too much. From here, you're only asking a 13% pullback. Imagine how much blood would be on the streets if that happened. There's so much base there. Microsoft stopped falling. Well, yeah. I mean, there's too much sitting at 290, man. They're not going to allow 290 to be done. Sorry, ACK. And then we have, Ulrich, the 55 was the level there, man. Hopefully it can get up there. All right, guys. It looks like it is a day of the marijuana stocks. That seems to be the thing that's moving the most, 19.32%. Probably a Wall Street kind of move here. Wall Street bets, that is. And yes, you are breaching through a pretty key level. This is the funny money today. I'm not sure if you want to be involved in that type of thing, but that is already up another 10% since the open. The rest of the stocks, wait for FOMC. I'll have a video coming out tomorrow about it. Be wary of the markets right now is my kind of thing, and I'm still optimistic about the economy. I'm still optimistic about the long term, or at least the next couple of years. But we always need to be aware and keep our eyes open, because when you start, not being able to find sweet buys, then you've got a point where, Wall Street's not finding sweet buys either. And remember, about 2 months ago, oh man, were we finding sweet buys? It was crazy buys. In June, we were going psycho on this channel. We were finding sweet buys left, right, and center. But right now, we're not finding them. We're not sniffing them out that much. S. Burgos says, I made a ton of money on medical marijuana stocks in the last few years. You must be really in and out, S. Burgos. You've got to be in and you've got to be out, as you would well know, as you would now. Sergey says, sweet sells are nice also. Yeah, sweet sells are nice. Sweet selling of credit is sweet too. Sweet selling of credit is sweet too. PK Subban says, I just want a break even. I'm sure you can, PK. I hope it comes through for you. Uber up or down? Oh, this company. I don't get it. I'm going to go with I don't even like it. I don't like the industry. I don't understand. I think that Uber could get messed up by a company like Tesla, even Google. You know, robotic cars could mess these guys up. This reminds me of the taxi industry in Australia, and I'll leave it here. Many years ago, at least in Victoria, you would be able to buy a taxi license for $500,000 to be able to drive a taxi. Then they changed the rules and those taxi licenses became about $500. What I'm kind of thinking here with Uber is that you've got huge competition on the food side, and I don't even think the car side is that great personally, because we're going to get robotic cars. Whether it's Tesla, whether it's Google, whether it's some other thing, it's going to happen, guys. It will. That's my belief. You can disagree with me. It may be 10 years away. It may be 15 years away. But I'm not a fan of the Ubers. If you're looking from it from a technical perspective right now and you think, oh, I love Uber right here, you're hoping for it to break past $48, close above there, and then rally into 51. Nice little double bottom that would create. So gets through the 20, rally to the 52, 51. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We will see you tomorrow, and good luck today. Just be careful out there, and hopefully nobody gets too hurt, because, yeah, I don't want you guys not being able to come back to the stream, you know. We're in it together. Bye for now. John Moore says, Uber will beat DoorDash. Is that true? Oh, I need to see what the stream says. Guys, you use Uber or DoorDash? I use DoorDash. What do you guys use? Tell me now. Uber or DoorDash? In Australia, I'm probably the worst customer because I only use it when it has coupons, because I'm cheap like that when it comes to these companies. I don't like paying the overall inflated menu. I just go drive there and get it myself. All right, here we go. Uber, DoorDash. DoorDash. Uber has no drivers. Ooh. Dash, Uber. Whoever. Kim says whoever has coupons. Yeah, man. That's the Oz bargain lifestyle, yeah? Oh, my God. Deliveroo. You know what you shouldn't use? Menu log. They stuffed me over. I used them with the coupon. Took me 2 hours to get my food. Come on, guys. Stupid menu log. Kevin says, in Sydney, I call the restaurant. Old school, Kevin. I like that. Grab. Yeah. DoorDash. Look at this. More dashes than Ubers. Very interesting. There you go, guys. More DoorDashes than Uber. Thanks so much, everybody. That is the official statistic of Uber versus DoorDash from right now. I want to go look at the DoorDash stock before we finish. Dash over here. It just looks better. It's healthier. It looks better. The Uber is it's the technology of yesteryear. I haven't used Uber. I don't even use Uber for taxi. I think I used Didi and some other thing in Australia. Yeah. All right. Catch everyone. Bye for now. That is correct. Apple could be forming double top action. Let me just go over there. Yeah, double top action. 140 is the key, guys. 140 is the key. Bye for now.